Hi guys, Redeye Gaijin here again. This is just going to be a follow-up video to the immediately previous video made yesterday regarding the Zainichi kankokujin and issues surrounding that. Thanks so much for subscribing. I've just started making these videos in the last 2 or 3 months, and it's been challenging to get my views and subscribers up, so thank you very much. And just to get into or address some of the comments and questions that were left with the previous video. Something that I didn't get into really was how Zainichi kankokujin are looked at or treated by Korea and Koreans in Korea. And I've just got two examples that I can give you firsthand of that. The first one is my wife, who I mentioned is Zainichi kankokujin, is one of three sisters. Three girls in the family, and both of the other sisters actually chose to do their study abroad experience in Korea to learn Korean language, and pretty much they both went to do the language program, Korean language program at Yonsei University, and they went at different times, one being the eldest sister, the other one the youngest, my wife in the middle. For those who don't know, Yonsei is one of the more prestigious universities in Korea. It's probably on par with Keio University in Japan, in Tokyo there. But anyway, the crust of it is both of the girls actually experienced forms of discrimination while they're over there. Having the Korean name, Korean passport, and looking Korean, but not being able to speak the language was basically what gave them away as Zainichi, and I think also the dress sense. An interesting comment that my wife made was that there are Koreans that can spot Zainichi a mile away when they're visiting Korea because they dress in a very Japanese way, obviously born and raised in Japan, and just having that kind of I don't know, is it a cultural dress sense? Anyway, they've got the Japan look going, but obviously they're Korean roots, and they would actually have things said to them, or at least be talked about, and have certain derogatory terms, or certain I guess in the way that that Gaijin in Japan can be talked about, and that word can probably be used in a bad way. The same thing happened to them, but in Korea by Koreans. So that was one clear example of how Zainichi kankokujin are not accepted in Korea. And the second one is my father-in-law, and he's a keen golfer, and he would before he got too old, he would go, I think, once a year to Jeju Island, which is the beautiful Hawaii-like island, which is part of Korea, with a group of Zainichi kankokujin, and which are his mates, and pretty much they would go on a golf tour. So they'd go and play golf for a week or so, stay in a hotel or in a sort of golf resort. And almost every time they would go, they would come back with some story of a conflict which had occurred between the local Koreans who would make fun of or really torment and based on being Zainichi. Koreans torment this man and his friends, and basically one interesting side thing there is I just sort of mentioned it in a note in my previous video. My father-in-law was born in Japan, but he actually he moved to Korea at the age of 2 and stayed there till about 6 or 7. Then he moved back to Japan, and that meant that he actually speaks Korean as a native without the Japanese accent, which a lot of the Zainichi have, and I've actually been in situations where the Koreans are making fun of Zainichi kankokujin accents, which is a whole nother little story there. But he doesn't have the accent. When he speaks Japanese, he speaks as a native, and when he speaks Korean, he speaks as a native would. And something interesting is when he was on these golf trips and he got angry. He's actually a very tough type of guy, and I might make a whole nother video about why I'm saying he's tough and some of the experiences he's had. But he would, when angry, break into the dialect of Jeju Island, which is where his roots were from, and that is in a way, I guess, parallel to how when Japanese yakuza are betrayed in the media, it's always an angry Osaka sort of slang. Well, that's what Jeju Islanders have, a sort of a very strong sort of slang. It's a bit more rough than the Korean language, and that actually got him out of trouble a lot of times when he was over in Korea being confronted or picked on, and I think they were a little taken back by this very authentic, strong, angry Jeju Island voice that was being belted out when they tried to pick on him. So I just thought that might have been an interesting thing to bring up. So why is this? Why are Zainichi really looked down upon from Korea too? And I think it is a lot to do with something Hiko Simon mentioned in a comment in my last video. Being able to get out of conscription, as most average Koreans must do. They do some army time or navy time or what have you, and basically, I suppose that's interpreted as an escape. Going and living in Japan, and it might be seen as they might not really understand the hardships that come with moving to Japan as a Korean. So they're sort of looked at as, the lucky ones who have escaped conscription, and then to also, living in Japan, which has historically been the wealthier country and the sort of, I guess, Asian country of opportunity until recent times. So that's probably a few of the reasons why Koreans, or some Koreans have this view and this negative idea about the Zainichi Korean people in Japan. Another thing is, because of this, a lot of Zainichi kankokujin actually, amongst themselves, can consider themselves in a way refugees, or at least that's the word that they use. That word just based on not being accepted by either the country they're born in, Japan, or their cultural origin, cultural country of origin, Korea. So that's all I've got to say about that for now. So I hope that's interesting. Hope you guys find it enjoyable, and please ask me more questions. And also really happy with all the comments and subscriptions. So keep them coming. I'm just trying to build this up, and thanks again. Redeye Gaijin. See ya.